Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Miller, and I'm the Coastal Hazard Specialist at the Washington Sea Grant Program based in Washington State. And I'll be describing the development of a volunteer-driven and opportunistic study of coastal flood components that leverages Washington's King Tides program. Bridget Trosen from Washington Sea Grant manages our King Tides program in Washington State, and David Wilkinson, Barney Burke, Jeff Taylor, and Cindy Jane are with Local 2020, which is a citizen climate advocacy organization based in Port Townsend, Washington. So first off, the King Tides program was developed in 2011 in Washington State and was designed to facilitate the collection and archiving of photos of the shoreline during extreme water level events, colloquially known as king tides. The primary motivation was and continues to be using the program as a way to help people visualize a future in which events that we now view as extreme are more commonplace, and to thereby facilitate sea level rise planning and resilience. The core operation of the program, therefore, is associated with encouraging people to take and submit photos like the two examples that you see on the screen here. The program is currently run using an app called MyCoast, and the database of photos is available online. The link at the bottom of the screen will take you there. So in 2016, there was a convergence between first a data gap in Puget Sound associated with the degree to which waves breaking on the shoreline contribute to coastal flooding, and a group of motivated volunteers and advocates based in Port Townsend, Washington, so the Local 2020 group, who were interested in working to make the collection of king tide photos more useful. We decided to use the opportunity to stand up a special monitoring team to collect photos and ancillary data to contribute to our understanding of the magnitude of wave run-up in Puget Sound. As a result, I started working with the group to identify a site where we could do a couple of things. First, we wanted to collect repeat photos during extreme events at the same location. We wanted to use fixed features in those photos to provide reference points against which the elevation of total water level during these events could be estimated. And three, couple those observations with ancillary data on still water level and wind at an adjacent tide gauge. The site shown in these photos, adjacent to the Northwest Maritime Center in Port Townsend, was selected. In 2017, the group started to monitor extreme events at the site and started to collect total water level, started to make their own total water level estimates in 2018. For each event, the group compiles an event report, integrating their own observations with concurrent water level and weather data collected at the tide gauge or from other sources like the weather and weather data that you see on the screen here. To date, the team has monitored 18 events at the site, 11 of which included their own total water level estimates. So the collection of concurrent observations of still water level from the adjacent tide gauge allows us to estimate a run-up magnitude when coupled with the team's total water level estimates. And observations of run-up magnitudes associated with waves are virtually absent on the shores of Puget Sound. So, these observations are unique. Our plan is to start to relate those to longer wind time series to build things like wave run-up frequency estimates and a proxy total water level time series that can be integrated into flood exposure maps or compared to model outputs like FEMA's coastal flood study results or USGS Cosmos results. So at the bottom of the screen, note a very initial attempt to relate concurrent wind speed recorded at the tide gauge with the team's estimate of wave run-up, the wave run-up component of total water level after about 10 events. So even though this program is opportunistic, small scale, and in its early stages in terms of providing data associated with enough events to really start to develop meaningful relationships, critically, and by way of conclusion, what we've demonstrated through this project is that we can leverage a program like King Tides and the citizen engagement associated with it to fill existing observational data gaps about coastal flooding components in places like Puget Sound, where those sorts of data are otherwise very, very difficult to collect.